Alright guys, so I'm going to show you make the rectangular pattern practice part here. So we will start, the whole goal of this is to show you how you can repeat a feature pattern in a rectangular way. We've done a bunch of stuff with circular patterns before, so now this is a rectangular pattern. So if we open Inventor here, and we create our new part, we can now make a sketch here. So we'll start, let's see what we've got over here. So we want to create a 6" by 4" high rectangle. Right, so we'll just make a sketch here on this plane. We'll use the rectangle tool to just make a rectangle that doesn't have any particular dimensions yet. Okay. Now, of course, we dimension it. Could also push the D key here to do this. So I believe it said 6" by 4 inches, right? 6" by 4 inches. Should all be able to figure this out pretty well on your own. Finish our sketch, and we'll extrude it to a depth of 0.5 inches. Whoops. We will extrude it. Pick the profile, it picks it automatically. 0.5 inches. Great. Alright. Now we are going to, it just says to use the image here to draw a circle that is going to be used as the peg for the pattern. So we're just going to draw any old circle. We got to make a sketch on the face here. Draw any old circle here. We can dimension it later. They give dimensions right here. We've got it located 0.5 inches from the bottom edge. And we've got it located 0.5 inches from the left edge. And it looks like it has a diameter of 0.3 inches. Alright, so this is the peg that we're going to be repeating. So we'll finish that sketch. Now, it doesn't give us a distance to extrude it, so you can just extrude it any amount that you want within reason. I'm going to do probably ½ inch here maybe. Alright, so I'm going to extrude it. I'll pick the part extrude. ½ inch looks a little long. I'm going to do 0.25 inches. Alright, we've got our bump. Now, all we've got to do is use the rectangular pattern tool. So the way this works is you find the rectangular pattern tool here. It's right near circular pattern. Alright, we'll click on that. We click the feature that we want to repeat. Alright, so that's now selected. It turns blue. Now we have to pick the two directions that we want to repeat the part in. So these are like axes on a graph, like the x and the y axis on a graph. If you were going to create the grid pattern on a graph that you graph, mathematical equations on, you could use this whole tool. So first we pick the first direction that we want it to go in, so we always pick a line. So I'm going to pick the bottom edge of the rectangle. Now you see a little arrow shows up right here. Alright, now this is already going in the correct direction that we want it to. If we click this button right here next to the arrow near direction 1, we can flip the direction that the pattern is going to repeat in. So that would make the pattern repeat in that direction. So I'm going to change this to 6 because that's how many we're going to have, but now again we want it to go in the direction of the rest of the rectangle. So I'll flip that back. So we've got it going here and we've got those parts. Now we get to pick a second direction that we want to repeat it in. You could just pick one if you just needed a line of shapes, but we obviously want a big grid. So I'm going to pick the other side here. And now you see this one's going in the wrong direction by default, so I'm just going to flip it here with the flip tool. And we want 4 of these to go up here. Because if you look back here in their dialog, we've got a 6. If I zoom in on it a bit here, we've got a 6 and a 4. So those were our two. They selected their paths. All right. So we've got those, and that is all there is to it. We just click OK here. You could change the spacing if you wanted. We're not going to play with the spacing. We're just going to leave it at 1 inch, and I'll say OK. And as you can see, we now have 24 bumps that have been created on the rectangle here that we were working with.